like, where'd you go? I came in this shit out of nowhere, yeah, I didn't mean to scare you, bro. Used to look around and like...
Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of Brown Boys Talk Footy. Hope you've enjoyed the last few uploads and the content we've been putting on Instagram and Twitter. And today the video is going to be our team of the season for 2019-20. And we know there's still 3-4 games left, but basically I think most people have their team of the season set in stone unless something major happens last few game weeks, like Mason Greenwood hat-trick or Martial scores a few goals, Rashford scores a few goals. But yeah, otherwise team of the season is pretty much set. And we're going to be going through our team of the season in a 4-4-2 formation, 4 defenders, 4 midfielders and 2 forwards. And yeah, I think we'll get right into it. In the goalkeeper spot, I think we're pretty much unanimous with Dean Henderson. I think KJ's got some interesting stats to back it up.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I'll go with Dean Henderson is firstly, like Sheffield has been such a surprising team and most of that has gone down to the defense. But the thing is that their defense hasn't been as good as what you'd see by their goals conceded. And that's because Dean Henderson has conceded 12.22 less goals than he should have according to expected goals, which is the second most behind Martin Dubravka, who we'll give a honorable mention to. And he also has 11 clean sheets, which is 5th most, and that's not way off the best clean sheet record in the league either. And that's a pretty big thing considering he's doing this for Sheffield, and we're talking about the whole league where you have some of the best defenses.
Yeah, I think just on that point about Martin Dubravka, where would Newcastle be without him? Like, I'm pretty sure they'd be in a relegation scrap. The amount of games he's saved them, literal points, has been incredible. And the only argument I could see about Dubravka being above Henderson is the amount of mistakes. Henderson has made 1 or 2 high-profile errors this year, while Dubravka hasn't really. But I think on the balance of it, Henderson with 11 clean sheets probably does deserve to make the team. Any other outstanding contenders, Araman or Vyom? Anyone you think has stood out?
No, just something I want to highlight about Dean Henderson. Out of the 11 wins that he's been a part of, he has a 92% rate of getting a clean sheet in every win. So that says volumes about the goalkeeper and about his contributions at Sheffield, how he's carried the goalkeeper at defense, made the defense at ease. And which is why I kind of also expect that maybe they would sign Dean Henderson next season in case United doesn't decide to leave De Gea out and keep Dean Henderson instead. But yeah, really impressed by Dean Henderson's performance this season.
I mean, at this rate, Henderson could actually fight for United's #1 spot. Like he has shown the quality. But if we're talking about anyone other than Henderson, it's just going to be Alisson. Considering he's played for the champions this season, and he's had a much more solid back line than Sheffield United, I think you have to give individual plaudits to Henderson, and that's why I guess he deserves to make the team over Alisson.
Yeah, I think had Alisson been fit all season, he probably would have swept the Golden Glove and probably got into the team. But he hasn't, so I think we'll move on next to right back. Probably another, I mean, we've had incredible right back talents in the league this year. But I think on virtue of his 12 assists, we've all agreed on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Taken a step up from what he was doing last year, and has become probably one of the most crucial parts of Liverpool's attacking system. Anyone want to enlighten us on Trent?
This season he's had a much more standout season than last year. He's kind of stepped up his game. Even though his defensive output is a bit less now, he's got like 2.7 key passes from 1.8 last season, which is pretty good. He's getting more involved in the attack, and he's also been I think getting in more crosses, getting in more assists for Liverpool. And I think he's the only defender to ever get 10 assists in a season, and he's just equaled his record this season again with few matches in hand. So he's been doing really well.
Yeah, and I think in terms of, we're talking about the right back talent in the league. I think Ricardo Pereira is an all-round right back. We've seen how much Leicester have missed him since lockdown. They've missed his presence on the right wing. He's incredible going forward, incredible defensively. I think he's definitely one honourable mention, and I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka for United. Defensively, everyone knows a lockdown defender. But I think his attacking outputs really improved the second half of the season. He's got 3 assists in his last, I think, 5-6 games, including against Chelsea. I think he got against Sheffield, and he's got one against some other game. So I think Wan-Bissaka's attacking is definitely taken a step forward. And I think next season we'll probably see a lot more from him going forward. So yeah.
If it wasn't for Trent, he would have made it in the team.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Trent, Wan-Bissaka, or even Ricardo Pereira would have made the team. So I think that shows the amount of right back depth in the league. Moving on to centre back, the best defender in the world, Virgil van Dijk. Probably no debate there.
Don't even need stats.
I mean, he's probably taken a step back from last year in the sense his last year had 100% tackle success rate. It's come down to human levels of 75%. But I mean, he's still the best defender in the world. He plays every minute of every game.
We should rule him out just because of that.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost a tackle. Should not be in the team. Nicolas Pepe dribbled past him. And I think alongside him, we had a quite interesting debate. We're split here on Johnny Evans or Kaglar Soyuncu.
I mean,
Anyone want to give an argument for Soyuncu?
at least something all four of us agree on is we've seen Leicester's defense grow as a whole. Both the centre backs have played an amazing role. Soyuncu in the first half of the season, we've seen a major impact from Soyuncu in first half of the season. But then again, we see Johnny Evans performing the entire season. But only for Soyuncu's dominance in the first half of the season, I'm going to favor Soyuncu instead of Evans, considering that he had a few assists and goals as well. An assist or goal contribution from a centre back tends to be very helpful for a team like Leicester, and yeah, that's why I kind of consider Soyuncu a lot more than Evans.
Yeah, I think the argument for Evans comes from the fact that he definitely sweeps up a lot of Soyuncu's mistakes, so he kind of hides a lot of his defensive deficiencies and flaws. And I think as a ball player as well, while he doesn't play as many long-range passes, he does definitely hold on to the ball a lot more than Soyuncu and builds out from the back. So I think on virtue of consistency throughout the season, and don't forget, Evans has played every minute of every game. Evans probably, I think, for me, deserves to be in the team. Anyone have any other outstanding defensive shouts?
Nah, I think it comes down to these two only, and I think I agree with Arman more so, and it's because of the role that, while you mentioned that Evans is mopping up, but at the same time Soyuncu is playing as the more aggressive defender, and I feel like that's a very valuable skill, and the fact that he's been quite successful with his tackles and interceptions overall, I think that does show a lot of value. It's also more translatable to other, like, as a whole, for bigger teams as well, if we were to say it. So I just value what Soyuncu's role is more so than Evans, even though obviously in his role Evans has been as good as anyone this season. So just for that role, I'd pick Soyuncu over Evans, but I can see the argument either way, and I wouldn't really mind.
What about you, Vyom?
Yeah, no, I agree with Zorawar because as a defender myself, I know how important it is to have one defender out of the two stay a bit more behind, let the other defender be more aggressive, and play that role in scaring the opposition, putting pressure on opposition forwards. So in that way, Evans has been the rock that Leicester need, and has kind of allowed Soyuncu to be more himself and be more aggressive. And in a way, if Evans wasn't there, Soyuncu may never have been able to fit into that aggressive defensive role. So really, for me, Evans has allowed Leicester's backline to perform more themselves and more potent in defending attacking threats. And that's why Evans goes in for me.
Yeah, I think the thing that probably might tip it in favor of Soyuncu is he's playing alongside Ben Chilwell, whereas Evans is playing alongside Ricardo Pereira. And I think we'd all agree Pereira is probably the more solid of the two fullbacks. And Chilwell can definitely be exposed for his pace on the counter-attack. So I think by virtue of Soyuncu sweeping up behind Chilwell as well, I think we'll probably put Soyuncu in the team, considering he probably hit a higher high in the middle of the season when Leicester were on that incredible unbeaten run. So I think Soyuncu goes in for that. And now moving on to left back, completing our Liverpool trio at the back, we're going to go for Andy Robertson. And unlike right back, there's not as much outstanding left back talent in the league. when you see someone like Ben Chilwell up there as a contender even, you start to question the level of left backs in the league. But I think Andy Robertson has gone under the radar a lot. He's defensively a lot more solid than Trent. He puts in a lot of hard work up and down that left flank. And he also contributes a lot in terms of goal scoring and plays an important role for that Liverpool defense. So I think that's why we've gone for Robertson. Any thoughts on him, guys?
No, I feel it's just a clear domination for Robertson in this case. We've seen how big of a contribution he is to the Liverpool defense, not just this year but last year as well. He's had a consistent form or consistent performance throughout the 2 seasons, and I feel having his choice right now is sort of like obvious because we don't see any large contenders even competing against Robertson if we talk about team of the season. So yeah, I guess I'm pretty sure about getting Robertson over any other left back in the Premier League.
I think had Brandon Williams played a lot more games, we probably would have given Robertson a run for his money. And I'm not even kidding. I think in a very small sample size, he's proven to be a very good player. Even someone like Bukayo Saka, every time he played left back, he's been quite good for Arsenal. But I think the small sample size probably works against them. And I think next year we'll see a lot more competition for that left back spot, considering Liverpool might hopefully taper off, and Chilwell moves to Chelsea maybe, or Williams comes into his own. Saka might make a left wing back spot. Kieran Tierney's playing a lot more. But I hope we see a lot more competition in left back next year.
Luke Shaw's
a fat man who can't run.
This is great banter.
Man, I blame Jose for bringing that perspective.
On the view and any Judas Lumen make 'em missing, ain't nobody kissing now. Young when a young sinner, peace when I'm done, then a head spin, a cash spin, a brother, I'm the bread winner, bread, but I run, got a UMP, the soul son, a Johnny Glover, weapon, love, and them, so they never bubble, whoa. My life, I'm keeping it all on the low.